We are the Pennsylvania Manufacturers Association.
We are the Pennsylvania Manufacturers Association.
Business in Pennsylvania.
And business in Pennsylvania is our business.
Email number 1 comes from Denise in Huntingdon. What are we supposed to do when we pay out for unemployment, but when we file, we're not eligible to draw? My friend is a construction worker and hasn't been back to work yet. How are we supposed to raise families and pay our bills when work isn't picking up?
I think what Denise is talking about is the changes that were done by the legislature. See, I'm passing the buck here. Some time ago, in terms of changing the nature of seasonal work, in terms of qualifying for unemployment compensation. The legislature made that. They basically made it harder for some seasonal workers to claim benefits, which actually does hurt employers as well as employees. And so I think the legislature is looking at that, and as they should. But it is something that I think is a cause for concern, and I appreciate Denise's good question.
As for her friend, the construction worker, if he can't find work right now, it's out there because I'm seeing construction all over the place right now.
I'm assuming that what she's talking about, though, is not so much the lack of jobs. It's the lack of that seasonal benefit that allows people to take seasonal jobs in a lot of them in construction, and actually have a life throughout the year that they can, feed their families and provide for them. That changed with the legislative change last year or the year before, and that's something that I think is a genuine concern. I'm concerned about it. I think we need to change it.
And I don't want to go off too far on a tangent here because we have other emails to get to, but that construction that I talked about, I mean, it's everywhere right now. There are this spring construction season is booming. It's a lot of it coming off of that transportation bill that passed last fall and pumped some funding into those projects.
Well, actually, there's a lot of construction. You're right. That's on the civil engineering side, a lot of highway construction, bridges being fixed, and that is a result of funds that were approved last year in Act 89. But there's also, with the interest rate environment, commercial construction is doing pretty well. And I said I sold my business, but residential construction was doing pretty well too. So construction is, I think, making a comeback here.
Yeah, good time to build a cracker plant on a western PA, I think. Jack in Kingston writes in.
It does make for higher prices.
Jack from Kingston writes in. And, I tell people you don't have to necessarily ask a question. We take comments too. This is more of a comment. Jack writes, every parent should be made to attend a seminar explaining the importance of education in the life of their child to get ahead in life.
I think that's a great statement, and I think it's not just parents to children. I think we all ought to be reminding each other how important that is. As I've said a lot of times, I am a big proponent of investing in education, not simply because it's the right thing to do, that we make sure that our fellow citizens are educated, but it's a smart thing to do. Our economy is going to work better. Our democracy is going to work better. Our communities are going to be healthier. Our families are going to be healthier. Our fellow citizens are going to have more opportunities, more options, and we're going to have stronger, healthier businesses. So education is a really big deal. It's a transformative event. It's something that a limited government should do. We don't do much, but one of the few things we do is educate our fellow citizens. We ought to do that well. And our citizens, all of them ought to look at education as something that's really important. So I appreciate what he said there.
And you have in recent months tied it not only to success in life, but also talking about staying out of jail down the road. You get a good education, you're less likely to go down the wrong path later in life.
Well, that's a great. I think one of the things we have to decide in our democratic system is where we're going to allocate our scarce funds. And this is something that I think where we have a choice. We can invest it in education, and if we don't do a good job there, we are going to have to invest it farther down the road in prisons, for example, where we spend a heck of a lot more per person than we do in education.